We begin Taizé this morning by following the bell inward. As I open to the still small voice, I remember who and whose I am, and who and whose you are. We are the life of the divine. And as I remember that, I remember that I am whole, that you are whole, that we are whole. We are automatically worthy of our wholeness. We are automatically worthy because we are inherently divine. And as we accept this divine birthright, we realize that we are already whole. We have been whole, perfect, and complete all along. I'm so grateful for this realization and so thankful for each of you here, knowing that each of you is a blessing and is blessed. I'm so grateful for this time together today, knowing as Reverend Diana shares her insights, because of her recognition of the divine, always pointing the way for each one of us to live our very best lives. Knowing that this is the truth for each one of you here, I know that because this word is spoken, it is already true. It is already finding its way into the light. So we affirm this prayer by saying, and so it is. Amen. Ashe. Satu. Aho. Good morning. Good morning. So good to be back on this wintry day. If you're new with us here this morning online, my name is Reverend Diana Johnson, and I'm the pastor and spiritual director for Mystic Heart Spiritual Center. We're an independent interfaith community that teaches universal principles and practical spirituality. We open our doors and welcome, trusting that you will be led to the guidance and wisdom of your own mystic heart.
Welcome home to your mystic heart. Lay aside whatever came before. star, to guide you to heaven's door. Welcome home to your mystic heart. Lay aside whatever came before. Let your own intuition start to guide you to heaven's throne, to guide you to heaven's throne, to guide you to heaven's throne. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am.
I invite you now to relax more deeply into the truth of your being. Take a long, slow, cleansing breath in. And on the exhale, soften the forehead, the corners of the eyes. And breathing in and out again, relaxing the jaw, the throat, and the shoulders. Breathing in and out, relaxing the heart space, the belly, the palms of your hands, the soles of your feet. Now let this next breath move all the way up your spine and into your head. And back down all the way into your legs, your feet, and out into the earth below. Feel how the breath grounds you, connects you to the earth. How the breath moves between us and connects us with one another and with all that is, with all humans and all other creatures. How the breath connects us with the plant life, with the rocks and the sand, the water, the heavenly bodies. Take a moment to just feel your connection with all that is. Sensing our deep connection with all of life, we know that it is time. It is time that we rise in awareness, in love, in action. That we show up for one another and for our beautiful planet like we've never done before. For the highest good of all. And so we invite the presence of the sacred masculine this morning to come forward. That divine masculine energy that lives in each one of us. The sacred masculine, peaceful and powerful protector of all that has been created. Encompassing qualities that support growth, harmony, and strength, without the need for dominance or control. But this is not the image of masculinity that we have been handed by modern society. Go back with me in time to the Greek god Dionysus, sometime between 1500 and 700 BC. There you stand, in the shadows of a dense forest. And the great god Dionysus stands before you. You kneel, and he rests his ivy-wrapped, root-entangled wand on your shoulder. As the tip of the wand touches you, you might be catalyzed into mystical ecstasy, or transformed into an animal, or a plant. You are being invited into the magical process of creation, of transformation. Now let's move ahead in time to the stories of King Arthur during the 5th or 6th century AD. There is a myth about a sword. It has been driven deep into a large boulder and is stuck. It is told that whomever can dislodge this sword from its stone will be king, will rule all of Britain by the power of that sword. So tell me, when did the flowering wand become the sword? When did the peaceful, playful, creative energy of Dionysus become the divisive, defended, and dominating energy of the patriarchy? Our concern is not so much about when or how it happened. Rather, it is to recognize it for what it is, and to reconnect with the sacred masculine that lives within us, so that we can bring it into harmony with the sacred feminine qualities. Only then will we heal the wounds that are hidden in the shadows of our subconscious and reveal our innate wholeness. Only then will we heal the trauma that is buried in the collective consciousness, so that true peace on earth will prevail. The sacred masculine is an energetic, spiritual, archetypal ideal that manifests itself through conscious thoughts, plans, processes, goals, and structures. This divine principle is action-based, focused on doing rather than being. It is represented by power, strength, focus, leadership, and logic. In proper balance, it is confident, confident without being arrogant, rational without being possessive, and strong while still being gentle. It offers safety and guidance through compassion and support. Sacred masculinity is marked by action, taking charge, following through. There is visible passion and power without the need to force or control. Masculine energy will assert itself, stating wants and needs out loud, but with respect. It keeps us grounded in the material world, moving in a forward direction, while our sacred feminine will envision future blessings and place faith in Spirit's process and timing. The masculine will take the necessary steps to physically prepare for their arrival. When left unchecked by the balancing feminine energies, the masculine within each one of us can become aggressive or domineering, can lack empathy or emotional intelligence, may have trouble showing vulnerability or feelings, and can get stuck in the head, forgetting to consult with the heart. This is the state of our world at this time. We have allowed the masculine energies to dominate. It is time we come back into harmony, individually and collectively. It is time to call in the feminine, not to take the lead, but to bring us back to balance, to serve as the much-needed counterbalancing energy that will heal our world.
The wand and the sword represent two very different approaches to expressing our sacred masculine. The wand is a symbol of great power, whether magical or spiritual. And although we often think of the sword as indicating power as well, It actually characterizes force, not power. True power aligns with the creative impulse. It works with spirit to bring more love, life, and beauty into the world. Force has only one purpose: to get its own way, regardless of the cost to others or to the planet. Power affirms others, while force is largely unconcerned with its after effects. We all have endeavors that we delegate to our sacred masculine, with varying degrees of success. As we share our 3 minutes of silent contemplation this morning, I invite us into self-inquiry. We may ask, in my ventures, am I using the wand or the sword? Am I invoking power or force? Allow yourself to align with the divine. As our attention gently flows back into this time and this place, we give thanks. Thank you, Creator, for the limitless power that is ever available to us. Thank you for this spiritual family that supports us and reminds us of who and whose we are, and for the courage to let down our defenses so that we may love freely. As Reverend Diana continues her Taizé message this morning, we receive her inspiration with open undefended hearts, allowing ourselves to be filled with divine power and with the peace that comes as we remember our true identity, tracing our journey all the way back to our roots.
I would like to offer a reading as contemplation from The Flowering Wand by Sophie Strand. Arthur takes the sword out of the stone in order to fight and prove his kingship, his dominance over other beings. Perhaps then we should put the sword back in the stone, letting it fossilize and become a monumental reminder of this time when we cut ourselves off from the land, the animals, the plants, and our interrelated ways of knowing. Let us give back to the masculine the flowering wand. Let him find the water in the land so he can protect it. Let the masculine use his wand to put himself into other modes of consciousness so he can develop a matured ecological empathy. With the wand, he does not have to prove anything through force. His job is to connect, to close wounds, his own and the wounds of other beings and landscapes. As he uses the wand, he will feel its vines begin to snake into his own veins, the magic of the world reinvigorating his own sluggish circulation. And then he too can flower alongside his wand, outward into a power that is soft, curious, connective, and celebratory. Catholic priest and calls himself a geologian, Thomas Berry, wrote these powerful words. The great work now, as we move into a new millennium, is to carry out the transition from a period of human devastation of the earth to a period when humans would be present to the planet in a mutually beneficial manner. He continued, everything has a right to be recognized and revered. Trees have tree rights. Insects have insect rights. Rivers have river rights. And mountains have mountain rights. We can no longer hear the voice of the rivers, the mountains, or the sea. The trees and meadows are no longer intimate modes of Spirit's presence. The world about us has become an it rather than a thou. The natural world demands a response beyond scientific insight. The natural world demands a response that rises from the wild, unconscious depths of the human soul. This is Spirit's intention for us, for our lives. This is the return to the garden, the heaven on earth that we are free to co-create. Each of us can do our part to reestablish the harmony that is ours by divine birthright. by every loving thought we hold, each kind word we speak, by our conscious intention to do no harm, by our purified motives and responsible actions. The seemingly little things we do with mindfulness. This is the great work that we are called to. I would like to close with a prayer to the Sacred Masculine, written by Nuno Salema. We call upon the presence of our spirit guides and our internal masters. We ask them to bring their wisdom, their compassion, and their love, so that it may become our wisdom, our compassion, and our love. May the fearless brave heart, the noble king, the knowledgeable wizard, and the caring lover manifest. May we have the courage to share our vulnerabilities, the strength to face our shadows, and the will to express our creativity. May we be brothers in this quest, each of us in his own path, searching for his singular truth. May we feel the support of our tribe, the incitement of our partners, the dream of our ancestors, and the strength of our offspring. We evoke Mother Earth to receive and support us in its tender embrace, and Father Sun to shine its light upon us. May our animal instincts unite with our spirit, and our mind resonate with our body. May reason, heart, and gut align. And may we be compassionate for our history and our time. May presence, listening, and acceptance be our tools, knowing that the path is to be walked, but not forgetting that we are already where we should be. So may it be. And so it is. Amen. So I invite you to bring your awareness back into our space. Feel free to say good morning to anyone who wandered in while you were in your own heart space. This is your spiritual family, or at least part of it. We support one another. When we reach out for help, people jump. I'm so pleased and delighted to be a part of this community. So as we close our Taizé meditation this morning, we offer an opportunity for you to share of your financial good with our community, if you choose to do so. And if you're with us online this morning, you can go to mysticheart.org. You'll find a donate button, a mailing address. You'll find information about a gracious giving program should you be called to make a monthly commitment. And as we do our offering this morning, I have a video by an a cappella group doing Create in Me. This is an all-male group, so this is in honor of that divine masculine.
Create in me a clean heart, O God. Let me be like you in all my ways. Give me your strength, teach me your song, shelter me in the shadow of your wing. For we are your righteousness. If we die to ourselves and live through your death, we shall be born again to be blessed in your love. Create in me a clean heart, O God. Let me be like you in all my ways. Give me your strength, teach me your song, shelter me in the shadow of your wing. For we are your righteousness. If we die to ourselves and live through your death, we shall be born again to be blessed in your love. Create in me a clean heart, O God. Let me be like you in all my ways. Give me your strength, teach me your song, shelter me in the shadow of your wing. For we are your righteousness. If we die to ourselves and live through your death, we shall be born again to be blessed in your love. We shall be born again to be blessed in your love.
So we thank you for your gifts this morning and every day. These gifts make it possible for us to exist here, to have our beautiful space to gather, to offer services and classes and other activities into the community. And so I say thank you, Spirit, for these gifts that come through the hands of these beautiful beings. We receive them with love and with gratitude. And so it is. Amen. So I invite you, as we close with our soul's blessing today, to go grab something warm to drink if you'd like to, and rejoin us at 10:30 for Conscious Conversation, where we're going to pick up this topic and carry it forward into another direction. So let's, I think that's all I need to say.
May your soul always find what it's looking for. May your heart always lead the way. May you live in peace and harmony, and may love always fill your day. May your path be strewn with happiness. May success find you everywhere. May you always embrace compassion and grace, and may God always answer your prayer. May you always embrace compassion and grace, and may God always answer your prayer.
God bless you. Thank you for joining us this morning. Hope to see you back.
So knowing all is well in this moment. As we scurry to our seats, just knowing that it's all joyful and all divine creativity at work. Knowing that each one of us here is a perfect divine representation of spirit in action. As I know that I have a divine inherent birthright of wholeness, I know that each one of you here also does, because we are all one. We are all inherently worthy of our goodness, of love and respect and joy and wholeness. And so as I know this for each one of us today, I just simply rest in this knowing and let it be. And looking forward to our conversation today, knowing that it points us in that direction we need to go for our yet to be, to live our best lives. Knowing that a prayer spoken is a prayer answered. We simply release, knowing it is already so. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. Ashe. Satu. Aho.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. So good to be back on this wintry morning. Welcome back to those who were here earlier. Welcome to those who are just arriving. And if you're new with us online this morning, my name is Diana Johnson. I'm the pastor for Mystic Heart Spiritual Center. We are an independent interfaith community that teaches universal principles and practical spirituality. So we come together each week to be reminded of the wisdom and the guidance that lives within our own mystic hearts. You are hereby invited and welcomed to this spiritual family, to this spiritual home, should you choose it for yourself. So we're going to begin our conversation with some lively music. We have our Welcome to the Mystic Heart, our one big family, and we're adding a light. You are the light of the world today. So here we go.
Welcome to the Mystic Heart, join the celebration. Lift your voice and sing your part, make this affirmation. Spirit made us family, with loving hearts to share. Together we are joyfully practicing the philosophy.
just put this little chant together. It's super simple. You'll follow right along.
It's got 3 pages of lyrics, but they're all the same, so it's got from you are to I am to we are or something like that. So. You are the light of the world, come shine your light all day and night. You are the light of the world, come shine your light on me. You are the light of the world, come shine your light all day and night. You are the light of the world, come shine your light on me. We are the light of the world that shine our light with all our might. We are the light of the world that shine for all to see. We are the light of the world that shine our light with all our might. We are the light of the world that shine for all to see. I am the light of the world that shine my light so clear and bright. I am the light of the world that shine wild and free. I am the light of the world that shine my light so clear and bright. I am the light of the world I'm shining wild and free. Shining wild and free. I'm shining wild and free. Okay, get wild.
That's goofy. All right, so you can stay standing if you want. You can settle in your chair. Whatever it is that brings your body into the action, brings your awareness to the presence of the divine moving through your body. As together we practice our prayer and vision for a love-soaked world. So know with me now that we are creating a new story, a world where all humans embody and live from all of the qualities of spirit, living from love and kindness and generosity, living from peace, living from freedom and justice, compassion. From this way of being, I can feel the presence of a deep sense of joy and contentment filling my being. A deep sense of sufficiency for all beings. Let's rest in that for a second. Can you feel that? In this new world, all people honor and care for one another, and for all of the life forms that share this beautiful planet with us, and for the planet herself. We remember that we are connected to all of life, that we are dependent on the planet to sustain us, and on one another. Being generous by our nature, living a life true to that nature, we give ourselves freely, offering the gifts that we came here to give. With all needs met for every person, every being, each one is free to share time and talent in ways that feed the soul. By our every thought and word and action, we're writing this new story in which all beings are well fed, that everyone has the safety and comfort of home, a deep sense of belonging, a fulfilling purpose. We're so grateful that once and for all, health and education and relationships, healthy relationships, are supported by social systems that are grounded in wellness and wholeness, kindness and compassion. We welcome this new way of living, valuing every being for their uniqueness. We practice living authentic lives. We know that there is no need to defend or protect. with love and generosity and kindness guiding every human heart. Our world is free of hatred and violence. Doesn't that feel good? We recognize the abundance that surrounds us. Giving and receiving flow freely in every direction, and all beings gratefully receive all that is needed for a physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually fulfilling life. The planet and its beings thrive like never before as we learn to see the sacred in everyone and in everything. We walk in reverence and gratitude for all that we have been given, recognizing all of life as pure, unadulterated gift. We maintain the vision day by day, moment by moment. We're not swayed by any appearances that we face in the world. Each of us works to align our actions with our vision. That sacred masculine energy of action, bringing it to bear. Living these changes first in our own lives, with our families and our friends and our neighbors. And before we know it, a new world is born. In this process of profound change, this community stands as an open and welcoming place for all who seek support, belonging, and family. By the power of our deep faith, this prayer is acted upon, answered even before it is spoken. The Spirit knows our heart's desire and our intent. So in full expectation that it is gracefully unfolding right here and now, we release it to the creative power and intelligence of Spirit, to the one that gets it done. And so it is. Amen. Welcome, y'all. Those who are trickling in. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you, Kamala. Hello, Bodie. Welcome, Jonathan.
It's a business meeting.
It's a business meeting. We got cool things going on next door. What do you think?
Action's gonna happen.
All right. There we are. That was the deal. All right, so as promised by our lovely Angela last week, this month's theme is sacred masculine, bringing some harmony into last month, which is where we focused on the sacred feminine all month long. The topic of the conversation this morning is back to the roots. And if you were here for Taizé this morning, you will recall, and if you weren't, you'll get an update, that every one of us is a unique combination of the masculine and feminine energies. So we're not talking about gender-based anything here. We're talking about spiritual qualities and energies that are universal and present in all of us. That the sacred masculine is expressed when we are active, when we are focused on doing more so than being. It's represented by power and strength and focus, leadership, logic. So these kinds of qualities are named by human beings as a group that we call the sacred masculine. So all of this is a construct for human beings to maybe better try to understand how to bring themselves back into harmony. So in proper balance, the sacred masculine is confident without being arrogant. It's rational without being possessive. It's strong while still being gentle. It offers safety and guidance through compassion and support. The sacred masculine takes charge, follows through, gets things done, asserts itself respectfully, keeps us grounded in the material world, keeps us moving forward. Finally, when left unchecked by the balancing feminine energies, the masculine can become aggressive within each of us, we're talking, domineering, can lack empathy, can lack emotional intelligence, might have trouble showing vulnerability or feelings, can get stuck in the head, forgetting to check in with the heart. So these are some of the things that happen when that masculine energy is allowed to rule the day without checking in for the harmony with the feminine. So there was a lot more packed in. Oh, I just skipped something here. We recognize that the patriarchy that results from dominating masculine energy has not always been so. The patriarchy we live in currently in our society and in the world, in many places in the world, that's not always been so. And we talked about the great work of bringing the energies back into harmony, harmonious balance. So there was a lot packed in this morning, but you can go online after tonight and check it out if you're curious to see what else was there. For right now, I'm going to use all that as a springboard, and we're going to talk about a couple of words that came up a lot in looking at this masculine energy. Those words, well, the first one of those words is power. Let's start there. Power. How do you define power?
A directed energy?
Okay, a directed energy.
The engineering term would be a motive force.
A emotive or
Motive.
motive? Okay.
Something that moves you along.
Motive force. I didn't think emotive was what you said. Okay, maybe. Motive force.
Motive force over time, actually.
Over time. Okay.
I define power as an illusion.
Okay. Power is an illusion.
I think spiritually we say there's only one power, and that's spiritual power.
Okay.
So it's for me it's the creative impulse, whatever created all life or it continues to create all life and evolve all life.
Mm-hmm.
Spirit, if you will.
Okay. Yeah.
And for me, there's kind of an element of a presence.
Okay.
Some people have a stronger presence, and there's like this inner power that comes through kind of idea.
All right. So an inner power that shows up as a presence that people carry or bring with them.
With that, I'll just say an energy.
An energy. Okay. So what if I asked a slightly different question? What is true power? You would say it doesn't exist.
I would say influence.
Influence. Oh, okay. True power. And I'm capitalizing T and P, by the way. True power.
That'd be spiritual law for me.
Okay. Spiritual law, principle.
Love
which
is power.
Love.
Love.
Power of love.
Power.
Okay.
And basically a synonym phrase for what they've just said is just alignment with source.
Okay. Alignment with source.
Reminded of that idea of poise being
Okay.
power and peace together.
All right.
And I think of spirit that way, of having the power, but also in a peaceful.
Mm-hmm. A peaceful, powerful presence,
Yeah.
which is poise.
Exactly.
Nice.
Somebody mentioned love and someone else mentioned law.
Mhm.
I would just put them together and say love and law.
Love and law. I've seen that used as a description of if you wanted to do like a metaphor of the two wings of spirit or the two wings of the bird of peace, of love, spirit.
Well, in a way, the love is the female energy, and the law is the male energy.
Okay. Could be
spiritual
seen
law.
as those two balancing and harmonious energies. Okay. So the presence, for me, when I say true power, it's the presence of the divine moving through me. That's what I'm referring to when I say true power. It's that place in me that knows it is not me, it is the spirit within me that does the work, that offers the guidance, the insight, the direction, and gets me up and moves me out. Takes my very feminine vision of, wouldn't it be cool to have this community, into business plan, movement of the feet, getting it going. Takes both, takes both. So then, how would you define force? Power, how would you define force?
Controlling?
Huh?
Controlling?
Controlling, okay.
That which moves something.
That which moves something.
In the context of this conversation, it makes me think of ego and not aligned with source, trying to push through your own will versus God's will, so to speak.
Okay, so our egoic human will versus divine will moving through us.
What word did you say? The I word?
Influence.
Influence, manipulation.
I was
even?
Manipulation, influence.
Physical influence
Or
on this one.
willfulness.
you know.
Yeah,
It
okay.
depends on how you look at force, right? Because
Okay.
force can be I am being forced to do this thing,
Right.
or I'm going to force you to do this thing, or there is a influencing force for movement coming in. So
Right.
it depends on how you think about like the word when it comes
Okay.
to mind.
Thank you, yes.
Or
That's
where
true.
that origin point is, outer or inner.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Okay, what's the point of origin, outer or inner?
I think of martial arts, specifically judo. You work with the power and you redirect the power rather than force would be like trying to block the power.
Okay,
You know, resist the power rather than working with the power and channeling it into a helpful direction.
Like if you think about too, what came to mind was force of nature. We
Okay.
use that, right?
yes, force of nature.
And it's kind of something at that point that you have that illusion of power over,
Right.
right? It's coming. You can only, like he says, adapt to it, move with it. If you want a lesson in force of nature, you should have been driving the bus last Thursday.
Mhm.
That wind,
Yeah.
Yeah.
almost ripped it right out of your hands, man. And there's nothing you can
Yeah.
do but move with it. That's it. So when that
Yeah,
kind of force
so-
comes into your life, you can't push against it.
Right.
You just gotta adapt to it or move with it.
Resistance is futile.
Yes, use the force.
Yes.
I think of force being neutral, so,
Okay.
in other words, it really depends on who or what is applying the force, whether or not it's benign or malevolent, so.
Okay. So force can be benign or malevolent, depending on who's doing the forcing or bringing about the action, the movement.
So then again, it goes always back to intent of the user.
Okay, intent of the user. So when I looked up the two words, I was just curious to see what the differences in the dictionary were. And the places that they were most different, power was just simply the ability to do something, get work done, act in a particular way, especially as a faculty or a quality. It said the capacity or ability to direct or influence the behaviors of others or the course of events, the ability to get things done, and from the Latin it said to be able. So just to be able. Now with force, it said coercion or compulsion. These were not the only definitions, but these were the places where it differed the most from power. Coercion or compulsion, especially with the use or threat of violence, make a way through or into by physical strength, to drive or push into a specified position or state using physical strength or against resistance. So in addition to other definitions which were more like power, those were added on top. So then, we have this force, we've looked at it, depends on how you're using it, depends on the intent of the user, it depends on a lot of things. What if we are asking about a force for good? What is a force for good? We hear that a lot. Bob?
Well, Mother Earth has a force for good.
Okay.
Gravity keeps us all here and float away, and
Okay.
our cars become airplanes. I mean,
Force for good keeps our feet to the planet. Okay.
Is destructive weather a force for good? What is good?
Can't be.
That, you know, destructive by who, from whose perspective, you know.
That's what I mean by the word good.
Right, yeah. David?
May the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
It's energy.
Yes.
I guess in that context.
Well, I've also heard of certain people being referred to as being a force for good, and that person is always looking for uplifting other people,
Okay,
making things, good things happen.
all right. So it'd be more like an energetic force,
Yeah.
creating that energy of goodness. April, and then Heidi.
So, again, for me, that word influence keeps coming to mind. You know, you can push and push all you want, but if it's not received,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not pushing gently or with love, then it's going to be resisted. And sometimes a force for good is just someone, I guess, it's like the definition of good, but like a force for, like, let's say, love or positivity is someone who actively chooses with intention to embody that, and then
Right.
and then
Okay,
just influences others around them.
all right. Nice, thank you. And Heidi, and then Cheryl.
And if we're talking about force for good, it makes me think of like good trouble and like
Yay.
resistance and challenging the status quo. They don't want it, but you know what I mean? That's, and that towards progress or our evolution.
Yeah, okay.
I, I,
Force.
I see force as an encouragement, bringing the community together.
Okay. So
There's
the
a gentle
energetic-
way of doing that,
Okay,
to bring,
so bringing people together,
Mhm,
bringing the community
encouragement.
together.
mhm.
Yes.
Maybe to add to that, it'd be an energy put for compassion and kindness and goodness. It would be maybe a force for goodness, so compassion and kindness.
Okay, so compassion and kindness, as well as evolutionary movement forward.
I keep thinking about harsh teachers and how they will either mirror or deny, and how that actually is also a force for good. I don't know, I just keep
Doesn't
coming back
feel
to this.
good.
'Cause it might not feel good, but it pushes us along an evolutionary trajectory.
Right, I've had some of those.
Yeah.
And I appreciate and love them for that. But it wasn't fun.
Well, it woke you up.
It woke me up. Yeah. Yeah, so from the Latin, the word force is tied back to the word strong.
Yeah.
So that's the connection there. So why do I bring up power versus force as part of our conversation about the sacred masculine? Michael.
Because throughout the ages, masculine power, or masculine strength, if you will, has been used to exert force
Okay.
in the name of power or dominance or whatever.
That certainly has become certainly where we're living at this point in time. Yes.
Yeah, when we were talking about in Taizé, this, the wand and the sword, for me, the wand represents the true masculine, sacred masculine,
Okay.
and the sword would represent the shadow side of that. You know, when it goes over to the dark side.
Goes to the dark. And speaking to that, I just want to repeat something I read. It's not very long in Taizé. I invited them this morning to close their eyes and go back with me in time to the Greek god Dionysus, sometime between 1500 and 700 BC. There you are standing in the dense forest And the great god Dionysus stands before you. You kneel, and he rests his ivy-wrapped, root-entangled wand on your shoulder. And as the tip of the wand touches you, you don't know what's going to happen. You might be catalyzed into some mystical ecstasy. You might be transformed into an animal, or a plant, or some kind of spirit. You're being invited into a magical process of creation and transformation by the touching of the wand, the use of the wand. Now let's move ahead in time to the stories of King Arthur during the 5th and 6th century AD. There's a myth about a sword that's been driven deep into a large boulder, into a stone, and it's stuck. And it is said that whomever can pull this sword from this stone will become king, will rule all of Britain by the power of the sword. So tell me, when did the flowering wand become the sword? When did the peaceful, playful, creative energy of Dionysus become the divisive, defended, dominating energy of the patriarchy? And we didn't even spend time or energy on answering that question of when, because that doesn't seem like the important thing right now. When or how it happened isn't what we're addressing. It's how do we return to the garden? How do we return to a harmonious state of balancing energies in our own personal lives, in ourselves, and in our world? This is the question that we were looking at today. So I saw a hand go up. Go for it.
In the sword out of dominating arrogance.
Okay.
And it frees it up to be the wand.
Okay. So we need to remove the dominating arrogance of the sword.
Yeah, turning toward the sword and seeing where our own sword comes out.
Turning toward our own sword, looking for where our own sword is stuck. Or how do we release it?
I think one thing that happened is the story of the creation in Genesis, where humankind was given dominion over the earth, got confused with domination.
Domination, yes.
Which is, of course, dominion implies stewardship and
right.
Taking care of things, not just conquering it and
right.
strip mining it for its resources.
So dominion and domination share a root, but they're very different words. They have different meanings.
Well, if you want to think about the Christian tradition, you see that Jesus very much rebuked the use of the sword.
Yes.
He did that in the garden when he was being arrested, when Peter tried to use the sword, and he said, if you use the sword, you will die by it.
Right.
So moving into what did Jesus instead propose, and that was self-sacrifice. So basically giving ourselves for others, and that was the sword that he wielded to bring about the change that he brought about.
I would even go so far as to call that the wand that he wielded.
Yes.
Because it was a creative force.
Yeah.
Creative force. Ding. Other thoughts, David?
Well, it seems like we always have the choice of it being a sword or a wand. And it's what we transform it into be that changes it.
Okay, so it's our own personal intention, motivation, perception, understanding.
Understanding, yeah.
Yes.
Just for me, really, I think it doesn't matter what it is, it matters whose hands it's in. And, you know, the sword can be used to cut down fruit, chop firewood, protect your family, right? A wand could put somebody's eye out. It just depends on what your intention is and whose hand it is in and why they're wielding it, for what purpose. And I think one of the things that happened was we started admiring negative qualities in leaders.
Yes.
If they could keep us alive, if they could help us survive, if they could help lead us to go get what they got over there so that we could have it, and now, or you know, we have more stuff, that we started looking up to that.
Right.
And when we do, that fuels the energy behind that aggressive masculine energy. And, you know, without something to check it, it really does run wild, you know. And I think that a lot of times we stand back and say, so long as they're getting it done, what do I care about how?
Right.
And we have to care about how and whose hands we're putting these tools in,
Right.
no matter what it is.
Yes. Chris?
So it sounds like you're talking about the ends justifies the means.
Right.
And I think the idea of the sword being pulled, who can pull the sword out, will be king, but it's not king over everybody. It's king, it's your own self-mastery, your own ability to checks and balance within yourself and how you're going to use it.
Okay. Thank you. Valia?
And, you know, through my lens, in and through the body, there's a physiological response. And to anything, right, any substance or any situation, there's a physiological response. And that physiological response of control over or power over is very strong and addictive almost. Where that physiological response to love maybe has just been, what's the word, just, it's not as strong, like the dark side force is very strong and it will pull you. And so will the side of love, but we have to make that choice. We have to, like, right? And be physiologically used to the feeling of open-heartedness and how powerful that is versus what we see outside of us as the leader, right? It's a,
So depending on what we were raised with and what tools we had to use to defend ourselves, to keep ourselves safe in whatever way, you know, we have all built some kind of habitual patterns of protection, self-protection, one way or another. And we need those. Now, for me, it's about within myself shifting those things from defensive, sword-wielding energies to receptive, powerful, strong. Not to say we shouldn't stand in our power. That's that divine feminine power, the ability to stand in that power peacefully and strongly without moving. If I'm standing in something, you're not going to move me. It's not going to happen. But it doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to wield a sword. It just has to be confident in what it knows and stand in it.
And being mindful of your thoughts.
Being mindful of your
thoughts. Thoughts are
thoughts.
very powerful.
Right. Yeah, they can lead you one way or another. They will. Heidi.
Well, and along those lines, in Buddhism, the sword is used in the imagery of slashing away at illusions and attachments and things that hold you back or put you in wrong thinking.
Yeah, it's interesting, that whole sword thing. I really dance with this one a lot. I have a personal stance that I don't need to share, but I think our world reflects the way we make it okay to wield a sword because I'm using it for this or using it for that. And I don't feel like we're going to know true peace until we find a way to not need the sword anymore for anything.
That's right.
But that's just a personal thing. Gary?
Oh, I was just gonna say that, again, the Bible, specifically the Apostle Paul, uses the sword as a metaphor in discussing how God's word in our life, the Spirit's word in our life, can kind of discern between good and bad, truth and lie,
Okay.
kind of like divining.
Yeah.
And so it's not so much a weapon as much as
Right.
it is a therapy or a treatment, or basically helping us rather than being
Yeah,
destructive.
so a tool of discernment rather than destruction.
Iron sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens iron. So let's see, how does this, I think we've talked a lot about how it affects our personal lives, how it's affecting our world. What can we do about it?
Beat the swords into plowshares, except the plows aren't that good for the earth either.
Chris?
Begin to know ourselves, what's motivating us and where we have these blocks. It starts with us,
So
inside.
like everything else, begin within, right? Where are our own personal blocks? Where are our own personal uses of the sword? What's our motivation? What are we using it for?
One of the things I have to ask myself, if I'm trying to do something and there's just obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, then I have to look at, am I in alignment with what wants to happen? Or am I trying to force something that is unnatural?
Right. Yeah. Doors opening, doors closing, blockages happening over and over again. Something to pay attention to.
For me, I think about the idea of kind of radical pacifism, and kind of this idea that I'm going to intentionally be peaceful rather than aggressive. You know, I have a hard time when I'm driving not being of being mindful of how bad the other drivers are. So having to basically let go of that, realize that I don't need to be a force of destruction. I need to be a force of forgiveness.
There you
and grace.
go.
So can we take this all the way back to what you started this conversation with? Because you made some very interesting comments about confidence, about assertiveness, about that piece. So is that what you would consider the wand? And how do you see that? Can you give us a little bit of insight there?
For me, it's that speaking your truth with respect, the assertiveness, standing in your power without dominating, without controlling. For me, the wand is what represents. These are creative. They're not destructive. They are a form of power, a form of strength. But they're a peaceful, powerful strength that does no harm, leaves no damage in its wake. It is when we speak with our voice or with our actions, standing in love and standing in truth, saying what we need to say, but truly having no motive that is ego-driven, that is harmful, that is from a desire to be right or to win or any of those things. That's what I would refer to as the wand.
So being completely open to the flow of love versus, damn it, you need to hear me.
Yes. Yes, whenever, damn it, you need to hear me, creeps in, there's my
That's ego.
sword. That's ego, there's my sword. Just my sword wanting to. Yeah, come on.
One of my yoga teachers, I think you'll really like this phrase that she had used a lot, which is fierce grace.
Fierce grace. Yeah. Fierce grace. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, a sword seems to me like it's always an intense cut. It does not do it gracefully, it just slices. And maybe that's where a lot of the anger or a lot of the, I'll just cut this out.
Right. Divisive. Yes,
That,
Chris.
that whole notion of the sword and sharp and slicing through made me think of, sometimes maybe we use a serrated knife. No, I mean, honestly, when you think about that notion, you do no harm if the knife is sharper and to the point without, but you use that serrated knife, my God, you do a lot of ripping and tearing. It just made me smile, that metaphor of the sword.
Yeah. I
So
have
it's
some
the
other.
type of sword you use even, maybe.
Yeah, or the type of blade. There are many blades that are not swords.
Or a light stick.
A light stick. There you go. What about a scalpel?
Precision.
Yeah, precision, cutting out what doesn't need to be there.
True.
Yeah.
I think also it goes to motivation. Like when I'm dealing with other people, or I've been in charge of a lot of teams of men, and you want to just get the stuff done, especially when you have a bunch of guys, they're ready to do the thing, and then you have to like take everybody's personality into account. You want to get it done, and I'm kind of like the person that if they give me a directive, I'm gonna complete it no matter what way I get it done. And so you have to be mindful. And I always think, what is my motivation? What outcome do I want? And then she was talking about, Cavalli was talking about that, that dopamine and all those things that rush when you get an instant result. There's a difference between the rush you get from an instant result than from one that takes time to achieve. And we get kind of used to that. And I have to be careful when I'm dealing with different groups of individuals, because I'm so used to, with a bunch of guys that have your respect, and that's important if you want to be a leader. Respect is not given by a title, it's earned. And you tell them like, all right guys, everybody grab the thing, move it over there. They do that thing. It doesn't work so well with a group of women.
No.
You don't tell a group of women, everybody grab a rock and go. They don't like that very much, So what's your motivation? How do you deal with people, and how do you present in the world? And all of that is very important regardless of what position you're in. Or, can you imagine if I just walked over there and told her like, go down there and get the thing? How well that would go over? That's
Please explain to me your reasoning
That's
behind this. I don't know if I agree with you.
That's that aggressive, right now, instant result type masculine aggression energy, and I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm a little bit masculine, and all the time she'll tell me gently in my ear like, that's a little bit harsh, babe. And I'd be like, maybe I am kind of being an a-hole, okay. But sometimes I need that. I need her to say, hey, you're being a little bit wrecking ballish right now. Maybe I am. Okay, I'll be gentle. Whatever it is, but I think that's a balance, right?
Yeah, that's the balance right there.
Do we have time for one more?
Chris has been waiting a bit, and then
Yeah, I was just reminded that that there's two ways to look at anything. Like Angela mentioned confidence, but the shadow side, I guess, of confidence would be arrogance. And the energy that April's talking about is that get her done, and we need that.
we need that. Yeah.
We need that, but
We do.
but it also can show up as aggression. So
Right. Yeah, at the Taizé, I was talking about how, it might be the feminine energy that would say, oh, here's the vision for what I see, and it will unfold in Spirit's perfect time. And it's the male, the masculine energy, that is making the practical way ready for the thing to show up. And we need both. We need both.
And that's what I was going to speak to. In the Kundalini tradition, they have their organization, a part of this is 10 bodies, and 2 of them are both the positive mind and the negative mind, and how they can both work for us, but they can also both work against us, because negativity can be discernment,
Right.
And positivity can be illusion.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So again, we're back to that harmony, that counterbalancing, Heidi.
And then kind of piggybacking on that, what's kind of coming up for me too is like consent versus non-consent.
Okay.
In whatever form. You know how you use a
Right.
sword, for instance, or any tool, really.
Yeah. So consent versus non-consent is important as well. I'm enjoying this topic this month, and I'm really dancing with something that I've been looking at for a long time. And this is next week we'll talk more about some of the archetypes, for the masculine archetypes. But the warrior is one that I've struggled with, because I have a true belief, and it's just what it is, that until we can rename that warrior to what it actually is, we're not going to have peace on earth. It's an archetype that needs to evolve, not to lose its power at all. So this week I've been going, well, what would I call it? What would I call it? And I first came up with champion. And I went, that's not quite strong enough. And then I came across the use of the word braveheart. And that's my chosen renaming. So the warrior archetype in my world is the braveheart. And for me that dissolves that viciousness, that warring.
How very feminine of you.
I'm an Aries. Do you know what the word warrior means?
Do I know what the word
warrior?
One who makes war. One who goes to war. Warrior.
More to it, but
Yeah.
Is it because it inherently implies conflict?
Yeah, ongoing, and conflict that is not dealt with from love.
Or cooperatively, or any.
Or cooperatively,
Yeah.
or, I mean, you might cooperate on, if you're on this side or that side, but it certainly is, for me, it doesn't feel like something that is grounded in love. So,
It feels like that's a challenging place because it's speaking directly to where the polarities meet, which is never actually going to go away.
Right.
So it might be hard for some to speak to directly where that
Yeah.
polarities meet.
Right.
But I'm okay. I live in that place.
Yeah, and I guess this is just sharing my journey with you, that's where I'm at with that word, and it feels good to me because it's been something I've just not been comfortable with for a very long time. It's like, oh,
Braveheart feels good.
that works for me. So.
I like the idea of Braveheart, and I think I personally might add brave and courageous heart.
Yeah, yeah. Implied in the use of that word is courage. Definitely courage, protection, all of those things are part of what that definition of Braveheart that I found implied all of those things.
That's actually the definition of courage, is it?
To have a brave
Behaving
heart.
from the heart.
Or his heart, yeah. All right, I'm looking at the clock. Do we have any other comments? I'm sure that there's lots we could talk
Well,
about. And we have all month to address
I was just
this.
thinking of, we recently celebrated Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday.
Yes.
And how I view him and his movement very much in the courage, yet using the wand rather than the sword.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that idea of nonviolence to accomplish goals
Mhm.
was very effective.
Very effective.
But it was also very dangerous for them.
Right.
But at the same time, it was very effective. And
Yeah.
I can look at that and be encouraged to know, yes,
Right.
you can be effective.
Yeah. Both are dangerous. The use of the sword is dangerous. And the use of the wand in that way was dangerous. So it doesn't mean you're safer one way or the other. It's not about avoiding danger. It's more about the energy and whether it's a peacefully intended process or not.
A peaceful warrior.
And so for me, those two things are like, no such thing. But that's just me, again.
Can I say one last thing?
Okay.
What I meant by that directly where the polarities meet is in the archetype of the dark goddess. Let's
Yes.
say Kali, for instance.
Uh-huh.
The sword is used to not only cut away illusions, but that negative mind or false ego that tries to power over things. But she actually represents, and that embodiment represents the fiercest grace, the deepest love, you know?
Yeah.
So it's the same.
Right.
That's what I,
Yeah.
okay.
I've also transformed her sword, by the way.
Yeah.
It's now a
She's made her own
scalpel.
deck.
It's now a scalpel, okay.
It's a scalpel.
Yeah,
Yes.
more precise.
Cutting away the tumor, cutting away the,
The cancer.
Open heart surgery.
all right, this is really fun.
Good.
We are gonna be talking about this stuff all month long. And, so, I'm gonna go ahead and anchor this knowing that we are moving back to a state of harmonious balance between these energies in ourselves and in our world. Knowing that there's only one. I'm going to call it one power. One power. And that one power, true power, call it the power of creation, the power of life itself, call it spirit, call it whatever you want to call it, but that it is an affirmative power. It is moving us forward in evolution. It is an active power. It is forever expressing itself as all that is. I take a moment to let that just soak in. I am, you are an individualized conduit for that one life, that one power. It moves through each one of us equally. Just awaits our understanding of it, our awareness of it. It's pure potential, waiting for our choice and direction. This power connects us. If we let it, this power will guide us. This power is infused with intelligence. It is divine intelligence. And it's available in any moment that I bring my awareness to it. It is always willing. The power that I express in the world is active even while it is stable. It is strong even while it is flexible and fluid. It is rational even as it tunes into the heart. The power that I express in the world is held and honored as a loving power. It's a power for good, and I wield it as such. It's the creative power of the wand, never the destructive power of the sword. I remember that the sword, with its resistance, its separation and violence, is not power at all, but rather it is force. In my life, for myself, I choose power. I consciously use the creative power of spirit, grounded in love, grounded in compassion and kindness and generosity. This loving power will not by itself heal the world. But until each of us lives our lives, till I live my life in and from and as the loving power of spirit, the world can never be whole. Each one of us healed, whole, complete, made new. All of that adds up to a healed world. I dedicate myself and my life to love, to self-givingness, to the true power that binds us together, that connects us to the earth and to all that lives beyond. I trust and know that as I give, so do I receive. Thank you, Spirit, for blessings too numerous to name. Those gifts and blessings that I would call beautiful, graceful, easy, welcome, and those that would challenge me to grow in character, in resilience, and in faith. I walk in reverence. I walk in humility. I walk in deep gratitude for your powerful presence and wisdom in my life. Thankful for this time together in communion with Spirit in community. I rest now in deep faith, knowing my prayers already been answered, even before spoken. And so I can let it go. And so it is. Amen. What fun. This is how I have fun. So take a moment to allow your awareness to come back in. You probably already looked around this morning to check in with your family. So I invite you to join in the celebration of the work that we're doing here by sharing of your financial goods, should you feel drawn to do so. If you're at home, you can go to mysticheart.org and you'll find a donate button or a mailing address. You'll find information on our Gracious Giving program if you'd like to make a monthly commitment of support. And as we are doing our offering this morning, tying in with the theme, please enjoy this lyric video by Peter Mayer, God is Loose in the World. I want to read the lyrics.
God is loose in the world. verse is singing the blues. Hey, hey, God is loose in the world. Oh, my, my.
Just so grateful for all your gifts, time, talent, and treasure. Knowing that they feed us and nurture us, and that your love supports our community of Mystic Heart, but also radiates out. And who knows how far that goes. So just sitting in this place of gratitude, knowing all is well, simply release my prayer, and together we say, so it is. Amen. And then please stand for our closing song.
I'm getting hungry. Most days I don't eat till dinner, but on Sunday I'm hungry by noon. What's up with that?
Body memory.
Body memory.
Yeah.
All together, hand in hand, to the light we take a stand, and we are changing. A whole new life for you and me. Take your past and set it free, and share this blessing. Love be with you, peace enfold you, spirit lift you, breathe it in. Truth come through you, make it flow to you, let joy renew you until we meet again. Love be with you. Ooh, 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 love be with you until we meet again. Love be with you. Love be with you, now breathe it in. Love be with you. Love be with you. Love be with you. Love be with you, now breathe it in. Love be with you. We love you all. Have a beautiful day. See you next door.